What's at stake is the ability of universities to decide how they want to allocate their funds and whether they want to support organizations that engage in discrimination. And that discrimination can extend to race discrimination, gender discrimination, religious discrimination. The policy that's at stake here actually covers those categories, but also extends to a whole host of other ones, including sexual orientation. And Hastings has chosen to support only those student groups that welcome all students as members.
Christian Legal Society in this case is arguing loudly that this is all about First Amendment and viewpoint and content discrimination. Are they going to get very far with that before the Supreme Court, do you believe?
I think the court is going to recognize that CLS's claim that they are forced to admit members and forced to accept leaders who disagree with their view is a real distortion of what's at play here. They're not forced to do anything. This is all about a condition on receiving government benefits, government money, government resources. If CLS wants to persist in excluding gay people, non-Christians, it can do so. And in fact, since it decided to forego recognition, it has done so. The group has actually grown since it decided it didn't want to get those resources. So it's not being forced to do anything, and I think the court will recognize that.
Okay. One more question, and kind of circling back around to the first on the implications. With the makeup of the Supreme Court the way it is now, how concerned are you that indeed anti-discrimination policies that universities do want to uphold, how are they endangered right now with the court we have?
This case tees up a real tension in conservatives' perspective on constitutional jurisprudence. On the one hand, it involves the provision of public subsidies. That is an area where the conservatives have generally been inclined to give the government a great deal of discretion. That's in tension with the notion of viewpoint discrimination, which the conservatives have expanded considerably in the free speech context. And they have deemed a religious perspective to be a viewpoint rather than a content kind of perspective. And that has grown in impact considerably in the last decade. And I see the conservatives really struggling with this case. I think it will be a tightly decided case.